Advanced Engineering and Fabrication of a Lunar Lander. See timestamp 1907 for the best design techniques. Now, these are two of the best design and engineering analyses that I've seen so far. The first one had me rolling on the ground laughing. On the second part, at about 1907, I was able to come up for some air, and then I started laughing again. Most people don't believe these are real images. And when they do, the first thing they say is, well, it doesn't matter in outer space. It can look like anything you want because there are no air currents or anything to worry about. But for any of us that ever built anything, you do like I did and start laughing. Because it's been my experience that if a man can't cut a 45-degree angle and make a picture frame, he's probably not going to be able to build a house for you very well. And same thing with a child. If they can't color and keep the crayons within the lines, it's probably not going to be a good artist at that time. So it is important, and we're led to believe that on faith, under this atrocity lies one of the most advanced engineering marvels built by human hands. And all I can say is there's just no evidence of that by looking at the outside. If that's an indication of what's under it, it's not going to fly. Did we land on the moon? Well, I'd say we didn't if we didn't have a viable, usable craft. You watch and you decide for yourself. Enjoy.
Hello, look what I have. I have the lunar lander, one of the lunar landers that landed on the moon. This is definitely one of the lunar landers that landed on the moon. It's not something made for a school play by the art department or anything like this. So, we're going to make some observations. Observation number 1, no windows. So there's no air pressure on the moon, so they can't use a barometric altimeter. So how do they know how far they are from the surface of the moon? Don't know. Maybe this is why they didn't have to use this. The jet here in the bottom, you see how there is no little sign here of disturbance? There is no little crater or anything. No, it's because the gravity is only 1/6, so it could just fall gently. So, okay, so it falls gently. Now, let's have a closer look. Let's do this. And let's see. What material is this? What is this? With all this buckling. And let's look closer. Look, you see here at the top, they started with very good intentions. They said, we are going to make this look very neat and everything will be very great, okay? And they have these bendy over things that they put a nail through. Dun, 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 dun. And then they just ran out. They ran out of them. So they just use a press-on stud. And here is a very important bendy thing. They had another one, so they use it here. And some more press-on stud. You can see by this shape here, the highlight here, you see, and a little bit of highlight here, compared to the low light here and the highlight here. You can tell that this is a thin material. It's not a thick material like drywall, plastering, something. No, this is more like parcel paper, okay? So, another nail here, another nail here, another one here, and some more buckling. Look at this buckling. Whoa, it's a like big S shape. So, and this here, somebody put this for a joke so that stupid people will think, oh, this must be very important, it must be some sensor. No, it was here for a joke, this is all. And whoever put it there will be laughing or will, if he didn't die already. So this not look like very much like precision engineering. Look at this. It's a bit too big. And look, not even a straight line. So look here, again, a bit of mistake. There are two kinds of artists in the world. There are the artists that like to draw freehand, and then there are the artists that like to draw with a ruler. And artists that like to draw with a ruler, because they are jealous of the people that can draw freehand, so what they do is they make extra lines. They put extra angles like this. They like to do this. It's to compensate, you know. So they do all these things just because they like to use the ruler, and they like to say, look, I can do octagonal shape here, and then I can work out how to do the shapes that converge on a point. Eh? And they are very proud of this. But this looked like it was designed by somebody who is kind of good with a ruler, but not very good with aesthetics, or not very good with dynamics, and not very good with fluid line. You can see there is no fluid line here. So now let's look at these here. See, one here, another one here, another one here. These multi-directional jets. Okay. Here there is a guard, because the jet is going to come out very hot and it's gonna here. And there is another guard, because the jet is gonna come very hot and go here, very hot. And here, oh, there is no guard, but it's going to come here, just like this one, no? It's going to fall here, but no guard. It must have fallen off. Let's see. Maybe it's this here, but maybe it's here in the shadow and we cannot see it. I don't know, but there is definitely not here, because if you look how close the guard is to the bottom of this inverted cup, look how close there, look how close here, and look how it's not there at all. So now let's look at one more thing. You see these things here, the padding here with the press studs? This looks like a BMX card for the crossbar, but it's too thick. It's not for a real BMX. But look, here, press stud. Okay, and here, press stud. But here, tape. And here, not even tape. This is like the rubber padding that you get for things. Can you see? You can see the gap there and there. Okay, and people will say, you're stupid, this is for heat resistance. It's like, okay, if this is for heat resistance, why they use cardboard here? This doesn't look like very heat resistance. And look here, this little pointy thing, if you look close, it looks like it's a peephole. It looks like somebody inside looking. Or maybe this is directional, and somebody look, and there's a little mirror here, and they could see the lunar floor, and this is how they landed. And it doesn't matter about this big gap here, or all the crimping, and it doesn't matter about all this. The stains, it doesn't matter about the stains. It doesn't look, this is definitely, it means that this definitely worked, because you can see all this here. It's not like somebody spitting on it to make it look wet. No, don't be so silly. And look, all this precision engineering. I would like engineers to look at this and to write to me and tell me that this really is the result of precision engineering, especially the way that this overhang. Okay? And let's look some more. Oh yes, look. See all this gold here framing this kind of thing, this bigger space there. Is this a hot dog? No, it's not a hot dog. But anyway, this with the buttons, something very important for him to do. In this part of the lunar lander that stayed on the moon, because this is the part that went off when the camera was filming, and people say, so who was using the camera? And people say, oh, it was the people in ground control controlling it remotely. Like, wow, mega long distance remote control, huh? But anyway, so this gold framing this box This would have acted like a capacitor when they were going through the Van Allen radiation belt. So all this heating proofing here, it doesn't matter. This here would have made the whole thing melt. And all of this, everything, all of it, melt as they go through the Van Allen radiation belt. Either melt or lose the atomic bonding and make all of the atoms separate and fly off without association with another atom. Maybe, who knows? NASA doesn't. So yes, now even though I'm pointing this out, people will come to me and say, look, the reason they use black here is because it's very important. And here, if they didn't use black, they would have all died. And here, they didn't need black. Or here, or here. Or this little piece here, it didn't need black. Okay? People will still say to me, you're so stupid. They went out of the earth in a rocket. And then they separated. And it separated into two units that were together. The other unit instead took this all the way to the moon. And then they separated from that unit. And then this landed. And the other unit carried on going around doing orbits of the moon, while this one was landing and they were doing things on the moon. And then this one took off, and the top bit here attached again to the other one that was orbiting the moon, and the one that was orbiting the moon took them all the way back to the earth. Okay, this is what people will still say even when you show that this is like cardboard or maybe plaster for doing drywalling. Look at these lines, okay? Look, I'm looking to see if there's a lemon hanging from the top, like a Grissom, but no lemon. Look at this crimping, okay? If you really think this went to the moon, and you think I am a retard for thinking this did not go to the moon, then maybe you should go and have your IQ evaluated. Well, not your IQ. Maybe your IQ is very high. You should have your common sense evaluated. Okay? Go to the people who like you the least and ask them what their opinion of you is. Whether they think that you are a well-balanced individual who has a normal sense of discernment. Okay? Now, let's look here. Look. Silver foil with copper tape. Look, here is closer. It must be very important that these three are closer, okay? Dun, 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 all the way up. Let's look at the other one. Oh, it's not so important. There's not three here. Look. Three here together. Not three here together. So it's not so important. Oh, and look at here. They must have finished the tape. They started with the other one, and here they finished. They just didn't have enough, so they could only do the half. Okay? And of course, you have to shield the legs, because if you don't shield the legs, then something really bad will happen. Maybe the moon have extra corrosive qualities, and it has to be shielded like this. Okay? So, don't question NASA, or question NASA and say, what have you been showing us? What have you been doing with the money? This looked like it was made by somebody's. There are two types of very intelligent people. There are some people who are very, very intelligent with academic smarts. Okay, I knew someone like this, very intelligent, but he could not change a light bulb. Okay, this looks like what that kind of person would do if they had to. It may be like 3 or 4 of them had to build something like this. One of them, the one who likes to say that he's very good at designing, designed it, okay? And then somebody brought them materials and said, there you go, make it with this. So they made it. But look, you see how they didn't know to put a pin there so that this doesn't buckle? You see how they didn't know to maybe move this in a little bit so it doesn't overhang? And you see all the buckling here, and all the warping, buckling and warping and everything. This is because they are not very good at doing things like changing a light bulb. So they can't make a lunar lander but they had to make it because they are very, very smart. So they said, look, I'm not going to pay and make somebody sign a secret thing so that they will build a lander. They will think that we are inept and incapable and ew, all kinds of things. So we will make it all ourselves. You have this thing? Hey, you know that thing that you showed me the other day? Yes, let's put this on here. Yeah, it will be very funny, and people will think it's a sensor or something. And the bottom of it, don't worry about the bottom of it, okay? Don't worry. No, relax, don't worry. And what about the curtain rods? What about the curtain rods? Don't worry about the curtain rods. People will think it's ultra powerful steel that we made especially for a metal alloy. We made especially for the lunar lander. We can sell a patent for it. We can get millions and billions. Yeah, and everything will be fine, okay? We will show this on television with bad quality. People will not be able to see all of this stuff. So now that you have seen this, either you are an intelligent person and you think this went to the moon, or you are an intelligent person and you think this was made by people who are not very good at art and craft, certainly not by master engineers, and this did not go to the moon. You will either be one of the very intelligent people or the other one that is very intelligent people. If you're the kind of intelligent people who say this is look like shit, then you will think maybe they didn't go to the moon and it's all a big lie. Or you maybe are the other kind of intelligent person who says it doesn't matter what it looked like, they still went to the moon. And all of these things, maybe they didn't have to be precise because of some reason that you can invent on the spot. On the spot, you will invent a reason. You will say these shapes are necessary for things. And all of this is all necessary for things. And if it were not necessary, they would not be like this. This is called rationalization. And globe earthers love to rationalize. So, rationalize this. What the hell is this here? This tape that's going down to the floor and across and then up is clipped onto something here and then goes up and kind of disappears here. What is that? Oh, it must be something mega important. What's in this void? Must be something very mega important. What is this? Look, it's just like it's got buttons and things. Must be mega important. Never mind the laws of experimental physics and electronics that says the whole thing would have been electrified whilst it went through the Van Allen radiation belt. Ignore that. It doesn't matter. Look at this. It's not even covering that properly. Okay? And what is this bits of stuff there? What is that? That looks like a big cable. What is this? Who knows? What is all this stuff? What's this? It looks like a bag of cement. What is that? Has he taken the helmet off? No, it looks like the helmet is there. So this is not a helmet. What the hell is this? Don't know. Okay, what is this? Don't know. What else? What is this big weird thing here? Don't know. Must be very important. So, look, the cable is going, of course, from the battery, from this, the energy to send all the picture and the sound all the way to the Earth. Or all the way to the other lander, and then the other lander, the other LEM, send this over. Who knows? And this here is all true, and if you think it's not true, you're a conspiracy theorist. You probably think vaccinations are not safe. You're putting everyone in danger, and you think 9/11 was not done by Osama bin Laden, and you are crazy and you are an enemy of the state, and people should put you on a no-fly list and put you in jail. That's what should happen if you think that this is showing that they did not go to the moon. Either this, or they did not go to the moon, they don't have the power that they pretend like they have, satellite spying on you and all this, and it's all a bunch of bullshit. You really don't know very much about anything, apart from things you have experience of, and all the theories you have experience of, are all just fairy tales. So, enjoy the rest of your life, and if you have a problem with this, don't have a big go at me, have a big go at NASA, and say to them, what have you been doing, you crazy bunch of people? Huh? Sending people in the moon with inside a cardboard box? What are you? Why are you laughing like this? Why? Stop laughing. Hey, I'm talking to you. So, there. I hope you enjoyed this little presentation. Go and look for the pictures yourself. You might think this was done for a school play, but no, sadly no. This was not done for a school play. This was done by NASA for the American government and for you. And I hope you enjoy your ego exploding and screaming around inside your head, say no, 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 it's not true, it's not true. And then you look at this, and your ego has to say, I know, fuck all. Okay, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed this. Excuse my French. Bye bye.
So if you've ever been to an air show and you've had a look at some of the machines there, like have a look at some military machines like fighter jets and such, and study the attention to detail. And I think you don't even have to go, and you already know, okay, well, the attention to detail is going to be outstanding. So anyways, kind of with all that in mind, I want to do a bit of a review on this Apollo 11 moonlander. I've got, I think, some other Apollo missions mixed in here yet too. I'll kind of let you know when that happens. But all the pictures that I'm going to show you are from NASA.gov, or when I was on NASA.gov, NASA.gov also provided a link to a Apollo image archive. So that's where also I got a number of these pictures. So let's dig into this a bit. So keep in mind that I'm going to be more critical of this thing because of who built it. Like, for example, if my kids had built something like this in the backyard and it was supposed to be used as a play fort or something like that, I mean, I would look at it completely different than if NASA builds it. Okay, so with that in mind, I just want to show you a couple of things here, and I got myself kind of going on this ladder thing, and that's one of the things we're going to look at. I'm going to start with that, and I want you to see. Okay, so this picture, it's called Aldrin backing out of the LM hatch. And let's go to another picture here. So you can see as he kind of backs out onto this platform, and so he's kind of blind as he's going to have to kind of reach down with his legs somehow and find this ladder. So it's kind of like an odd thing. Like, imagine if you are getting off the roof of your house and your ladder is kind of tucked up under the eave of the roof just a little bit, and you have to kind of reach down, and I don't know, it's kind of like an oddball way of doing this. I'm going to zoom in a bit here. So look, so he's just come off that platform, and this is what I want to show you guys. Look at this ladder. Look at right here where his feet are going to go. They've got like half of a pipe or a tube or something. It's taped onto the ladder. I mean, the guy has just come off what I would imagine like blind to where he's going to be stepping, because he's got this suit and stuff, and he's kind of laying on that platform. So now he's coming over the edge, and he's got to make sure he doesn't step on this thing that they've taped on here. And so you'd think, well, maybe that's the only spot, but then a little ways down they've got another one. Like, here's another spot where it's kind of like a trip and fall hazard. In this situation, if these guys poke a hole in their suit, they will, how much chance do they have of surviving? Because I think to get pressure back, they would have to crawl back in and get everything closed up and repressurize the cabin. And how long would that all take? You know what I mean? So you kind of want to keep your guys safe. I mean, somehow slip and hook on something here. So the description on this picture is LM/Aldrin, and the ID number on it is AS11-40-5928, and that is in the Apollo archives. So up on top you can see kind of like this round disc up on top there, and it kind of hangs over. It sort of looks like maybe they were thinking that they could pull the paneling out to kind of match the shape of that disc. I'm not sure. And the paneling is see how it's kind of pushed in here, and the waving and the buckling right here is a pretty good gap right here. And they use an assortment of colors. So they've got the dark ones here, and here they've got a combination of the light, dark, light. And you see the paneling here. This is what I want to get into later in the next picture. It was a pretty good shot coming up of this paneling, and particularly I think it's this corner here that we're going to look at. So you can see the buckling, you know, the bowing here. And so here's an interesting thing also. Look at this area. So back in the day we had crossbar pads on our dirt bikes, and I've still got one on my old CR. And so it looks like a covering on some foam maybe underneath, right along here. And look in the back here, so you see they got one. I guess maybe they didn't have, the covering wasn't long enough or something, and so, but evidently they had an abundance of foil tape, so they kind of got some tape going on there to get that thing on there. And over here, this looks like the foam that you might have, like if you want to insulate the pipes in your basement or something like that. So here's some more what looks like foam without the covering. You can see the little slot right in there, and a little piece of tape over this what looks like foam. Okay, so this is the corner now that I think I was looking at in the previous picture right here, and I'm going to zoom in on that. So this is a high-res picture on the Apollo archives, and it's titled Close-up of LM, and the ID number on that picture is AS11-40-5922. So if you have a look at that, like when I was looking at this for a while, I actually called the wife over and to get her to have a look at this, because it was rather amazing, and I don't mean it was amazing in a good way. So let's back up a bit here. So this darker colored paneling, I'm assuming that they used that to make a patch here, because it kind of looks like they came up a little short on the floor, and so they wanted to finish this off, so they got that other piece of paneling there, and they looks like they bent it into this shape. And I mentioned maybe before that it seems they have an abundance of this gold foil tape, so they got that in there. And look at the fit over here also. Like you got a big buckle right here. You could probably almost get your hand in there, and you can see on the paneling like the fit, the way it's bowing and buckling there. And so we'll go a little bit on the bottom here. So down here, this looks to me like what maybe some construction paper, like what you'd have like in a school project. So obviously I don't know exactly what it is, and it's kind of wrinkled and possibly damaged in some areas. It seems like they put tape on some damaged spots. I'm not sure what's all happened here, the little spots of tape. But you know, the interesting thing about this tape is it would have had to have been put on in the fabrication shop, because it would seem to me that when the astronauts are out and about and doing their work, they would likely care less whether or not there's a little tear or something in the material, and even if they did want to put tape on, how would they possibly do that with gloves on? So that means this looked like this with the tape and likely most of this wrinkling in the fabrication shop, and they sent it out of the door that way. I don't know, something about it. But this corner here, that really got me. When I was looking at that, I tell you what, guys, look at that. The buckling and the bowing and the patching and the tape. Here's another shot of panels. have a look at the overhang here. There's probably maybe 1-2 inches of panel that just kind of hangs there like that. And here in this corner you can see again that something's been going on here with kind of an odd fitting system there. And over here I noticed, so this is that little rocket direction blaster, one of them here, and looks like they've got kind of like a curved support for this little guide for the blast. So they could have, I guess, cut that off a little shorter. There's probably an inch that they could have cut off, and it's extra weight. This piece, it kind of reminds me of that molding that maybe you might find on some cars where you open the door and where the door jamb transitions to the panels on the interior. Like there's kind of like a C-shaped molding that kind of goes around there. That's kind of what it reminds me of. And remember this odd shaped box, and I think we're on the other side now. I'll just go up here a bit. Remember that dish that was on the top, and then it looked like they kind of maybe pulled that panel out. So I think we're on the back side now. So remember that gap here under this panel, and that odd shaped box with the different colored panels on the sides and stuff. Okay, so on the back side, that's I think where we are now. Have a look at this and check that out. So to me it looks like they've got some kind of tubing or something going through this panel, and right in this area it looks like they have something fastened to that tubing so that maybe the panel could attach to this assembly, right? So, but look at the gap here. I mean, you could probably reach right inside there, almost. Big gap. I'm assuming that this is aluminum now. So, like, look at the fit and finish of this machine, like right here. Check that out. So, probably 1.5 inches too big, maybe 2 inches too much room there. And something happened here. And look at the... and it just keeps going, guys. It just seems to keep going. So, more stuff going on here with the way they fabricated this and fit it together. You can see up here, and like wow. Oh yeah, there's a thing I found here too. So look at the panel right here. So they got the rivets going on here, rivets, and then here they cut the panel. You see how they cut a corner out of it? Kind of looks like that panel should be fitting in here nice, but they cut a corner out of it. When they, like, why would they have to cut that corner out of there? Why wouldn't you make it fit the machine nice, you know? If you look right here, there's a little fastener, see, and another one here, and I think it's the same kind of fasteners that they were using along the top here, and there's a pair here and a pair here. And you can see it kind of pulls in that material as it's inserted. So this looks like the same kind of a fastener, and it's obviously quite a bit different than what I think here is a rivet. Okay, a couple of rivets here, and a very small little fastener here, and you can see it pulls that panel in a little bit right there where it pushes in. So you guys think a little bit, what kind of a fastener would be really small like that and fasten into a light brown colored material on the back side? What do you think about that a little bit? So this shot is from Apollo 17, and the ID number on this one in the Apollo archives is AS17-149-22859. And interesting. So you have a look at the gaps on the paneling here, and the huge buckle going on right here, something going on here, and and I'm not sure if this is a window or a light or something like that, but you can see how it fits. It fits here. It seems to fit nice, and then it seems to lift off of the panel here. There's a shadow. See that? What I really want to show you in this picture, what kind of got me curious, have a look at the foil that's underneath the machine here, okay? So Apollo 17, they've got, and so here's the rocket, the exhaust thruster bell, whatever we would call that, and right beside it you've got this foil. See, all this foil here. Now check this out. As it takes off to mount up with the other machine that's still in orbit, allegedly, as you guys can probably tell already by now that and I'll tell you guys right out, this whole thing is, in my opinion, one giant hoax. It's probably one of the greatest hoaxes ever pulled on mankind, and I would say the biggest would be the lie about evolution, the lie about there is no God. This thing is just about to launch. Watch this little video here. I just actually grabbed this off of YouTube.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good. Excellent.
And you notice the extreme blast that rocket makes as it takes off. So we'll play it again.
1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good.
So I have a question for you guys. The question is, how is this foil still attached to the bottom of the machine when you get such an extreme blast right next to this foil? How's that even possible? Okay, so back to this picture here, and you remember here's where we started with the ladder and stuff. And so back to this picture. You tell me, guys, I got a question for you now. A little bit of foil up here, and doing some patching or something. But here's the question, guys. Tell me, do you see cardboard? Do you guys see cardboard? You guys see cardboard directly in front of the guy in the picture? Do you see when I look at this, man, I just see, like, after all the stuff that I've shown you guys about this machine, don't you think it's possible that this is actually cardboard? That's what it looks like to me. Obviously I can't confirm that, but that's kind of what I get out of that. When he does go down the ladder, I do have to add, though, I guess, that he does have the handles to hold on to here to help guide him onto the ladder with all the tape and foil. And think about how they teach our little kids about evolution in schools, teaching our little kids that there is no God. How many people die every day having to find out the hard way, having to stand before our Creator, our dear Heavenly Father? So I've decided for myself personally, man, I have decided I'm bowing my knees before Jesus and repenting before I die, and I've already done that. And man, I am not. If I would wait till after I die, you know, I'm in some serious trouble then. You know, I need a Savior. You know, we all do. I'm just saying, guys. Just saying.